But I say to our friends all across Europe, and I've been in many European countries over the past 3 years, we are with you on an anti-austerity strategy. We are with you in demanding an end to inequality and injustice. And I say to those in our own movement in other parts of the world, if you think going into office is all about managing another round of austerity and another round of cuts, you will create a political vacuum that will be filled by the far right and the racists who will blame the minority. Our strength, our importance is to bring people together for economic justice, an ending of inequality, and yes, an investment-led economy. And so I want to lead a Labour government that gives workers the power so that Carillion goes under. The workers are not all dismissed. They're invited to run the company, because you know what? They couldn't run it worse than the Carillion management did. And there are so many other examples we could use, but we are very clear. We're bringing Royal Mail, we're bringing water, we're bringing rail back into public ownership where they belong. But it's also about fairness in society. My constituents, like many of you here, have been through the misery of the introduction of universal credit. The whole problem that goes with it, the poverty that goes with it, the rents that are not paid, so many other problems that go with it. And the way in which so many older people in our society are scared and frightened and have been so badly treated. The WASPy women are here today. I want justice for the WASPy women. I want to see them be properly treated. And the points that Dennis made about the pensions of the miners, absolutely right. A Labour government will bring justice to the miners and the mine workers and the mining communities. We will not allow a pension rip-off. We will not allow a government to rip off those communities. Because our duty as a party is to redress the awfulness of the past, and one of the first actions I've asked Diane Abbott to take when she becomes Home Secretary is a public inquiry into Orgreave and Shrewsbury and the policing of the miners' strike. Because when you uncover injustice of the past, and I've been through campaigns on Guildford, on Birmingham and many others, you begin to frame the future, and that way you make ourselves stronger for the future. That's what movements do together. Yesterday, thousands and thousands of people were on the streets of London and many other parts of the country to welcome the American president to Britain. Welcome him to point out that what he does to women, what he says about Muslim communities, what he says about Mexicans, what he's doing on trade by imposing tariffs and starting a trade war is wrong and dangerous. What he is now trying to do on the Iran nuclear deal of walking away from it is very, very dangerous indeed. That peace agreement was put together after many years of work by a lot of very dedicated people. We are not going to allow Donald Trump to tear up the hopes of peace within that region and an end to the dangers of nuclear proliferation there. I want to lead a government that will say to the US president, sorry, you're not on that. Sorry, you're not on when you try to walk away from the Paris Climate Change Agreement. Our duty, all of us, is to support, sustain and defend the planet on which we live. And so we say all that to Donald Trump, and we did yesterday in our tens of thousands. Liam Fox wanted to know why I had supported a demonstration that he said was an embarrassment to the whole country and an insult to the United States. Well, I simply say this: there were an awful lot of people from the United States on that march yesterday, and there's an awful lot of people in the United States that are very unhappy about many things. The American tradition, I understand and recognise, are those brave workers in Chicago that struck for the 8-hour day and May Day, those in the southern states that joined the civil rights campaign that eventually ended in the Civil Rights Act, those that fought for racial justice and equality in the United States. That's the heritage and origins of the USA that I can relate to and recognise. So when Donald Trump says the way forward now is to leave the United Nations Human Rights Council, I quite simply say to him, you are wrong. We have gained rights to assembly, to freedom of speech, to organise, many others within it. We put pressure on every country around the world, be they Saudi Arabia or China or anywhere else, to recognise those human rights. I want to lead a government that has at the very core of its international strategy peace, freedom, justice, democracy and human rights. Not war, not weaponising, but bringing that justice around to the rest of the world. And I thought the people yesterday in Trafalgar Square and on the streets of London gave us an incredible message. A message which is one of our unity together in demanding those fundamental things. A message of hope for so many people. And a message to the very richest and very powerful in this country and around the world. There is a movement of people that doesn't want a world run by global corporations, that doesn't want a world where injustice is tolerated and allowed, that doesn't want to condemn the lives of so many people into refugee camps or shanty towns, but instead wants a world where the economic benefits are shared out more fairly. I don't want to live in a country where people rely on food banks. I don't want to live in a country where people beg merely to get a night's shelter. I don't want to live in a country where so many of our children are so stressed at their existence, their living, their housing and their lack of hope that they end up being seriously mentally ill. We as a movement came together to bring hope to people of the strength of the collective. And sometimes it's the poets that help us see through the fog of the day. And if you wouldn't mind, I want to conclude this by saying something. Organise together, work together, mobilise together, talk to people in order that they understand there is an alternative to the brutality of the system in which we live. And remember those great people who went before us. And I close with this, The March of the Workers by William Morris. On we march then, we the workers, and the rumour that ye hear is the blended sound of battle and deliverance drawing near. For the hope of every creature is the banner that we bear, and the world is marching on. Thank you.
Let's hope before next year, when I'm standing here, I'm announcing him as Prime Minister. Right, I'd like to call upon the Chairman of the Durham Mine Workers Association, Joe Whitworth, to give a vote of thanks on your behalf. Thank you.
That was something else. Can I give thanks to all of you for being here today? Hope you enjoyed a brand new gala. It gets better every year. Let's keep it growing. Next year, the DMA is 150 years old. That's the Durham Miners Association, not me. We expect you all to be back here for what will be a momentous event. It'll be a huge celebration of who we are, what we stand for, and what we believe in. A big meeting thank you to all our speakers, the lads, the lasses who have helped put this gala on. And we'll clean up after you. We couldn't do it without you. Don't forget to support the Murrays. Last year, we were bigger than Glastonbury. They earned £45 million in ticket sales. Ours, zero. The gala is free. Let's keep it that way through your subscriptions. As we always say, the past we inherit, the future we build. Billy Bragg is on next. Thanks for your support over the years. Great to see you all back. See you all next year. Thank you.